It's the penultimate round of the 2007 Superside FIM Sidecar World Championship. So the championship standings, 25-point lead for Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance over Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala, with Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni in third. Team Eastern Airways streaking away at the top of the team standings. So for the penultimate round, round 6, the teams travelled down to the Mediterranean coast and the circuit of Rijeka in Croatia. Well, a great event here in Rijeka for the Croatian Sidecar Grand Prix. The track 2.5 miles per lap. The lap record 132.4 held by Klaus Klaffenbach from 10 years ago on the two-stroke. So after qualifying, it was Pivarinta and Kartiala on the pole position ahead of the French pairing Delanoy and Clues. Tim Reeves and Pat Farrance on the outside of row 1 with the Birchalls and Jos Moser on the second row. Well, the local Rijeka dignitaries always out in force here at the Croatian Sidecar Grand Prix. Igor Eskina with the flag, the circuit manager, and with a wave of the flag, the event got underway. So from their qualifying times, the teams were split up into the match races where they'd race against themselves and against the clock. The 4 match race heats won by Tony Green and Colin Two, Adam Treasure and Lionel Cornwall, Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni, and Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance, and they progressed forward to the semi-finals. This was the first of the semi-finals, riding on board with Adam Treasure and Lionel Cornwall, the Australian Aircom team, with their new sponsorship from Summitsberger. But out in front it was Dave Molyneux and Gary Partridge now on board that Molyneux machine. Gary making a return to the World Championship stage. Billy Galros was having a great battle with Australian Adam Treasure and Lionel Cornwall. Treasure really getting to grips with this Rijeka circuit. But at the finish of the 3 laps, it was Dave Molyneux and Gary Partridge that took the win in the first of the semi-finals. The second semi-final, well, it was most of the fast teams out there, and we're on board with Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues. And they got a jump start penalty for that start there. They went before the red light had gone out, so that was seriously going to hamper their progression. These match races decided on the winners automatically going through, and the next places made up by the fastest finishing race times. Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala, well, they got a poor start from the front row of the grid, found themselves behind Adolf Hanni and Marcus Schlosser. So with the winner automatically going through to the final, the next place is made up on race times. Tim Reeves and Pat Farrance qualified for the final. Delanoy followed them over the line, but with that 20-second penalty, he found himself out of the 6-bike match race final. Tim Reeves, Patrick Farrance, they were on pole position. Ben and Tom Birchall made the final as well, as did Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala. Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni there put in a quick enough time, and Dave Molyneux, number 18, winner of the first semi-final, and number 33, Sean and Mark Hegarty, the British brothers there. They made the final after Delanoy's 20-second penalty. So 3 quick laps of this Rijeka circuit. On the back row of the grid there, Dave Molyneux and Gary Partridge. So as the red lights went out, everybody got away cleanly this time, and this is the first of the points-paying races. And it was Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance that got the jump at the start, going down in towards the tricky turn 1, but Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala nipping up the inside into the left-hander and taking the lead on this opening lap. You can see how bumpy this Rijeka circuit is. Beautiful flowing circuit, a real driver's circuit. Very hard for passengers, especially this first 2/3 of a lap. Absolutely no rest, going from left to right to left to right, with no rest in between. Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni, well, they didn't get such a good start. They were down in 5th place behind Dave Molyneux and Gary Partridge. And it was the Hegarty brothers, Sean and Mark, that were in 3rd place on this opening lap, with Tim and Tristan Reeves chasing down Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala. Of course, with just this race and 2 more left in the 2007 series, Pavarinter and Cardiala desperate to win every race and try and close that 25-point championship lead that Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance came here with. So it was going to be a real dogfight once more between Pavarinter and Tim Reeves. Going into the last lap, Pavarinter held the lead, but Tim Reeves saw an opportunity into the chicane and, well, obviously just let the brakes off, dived up the inside and took the lead with half a lap to go. And that would be disappointment for Pekka Pavarinter and Timo Cardiala. Smoke pouring off that rear Yokohama tyre as 200 brake horsepower and a cone get thrown at Pekka Pavarinter and Timo Cardiala. Just one real passing opportunity left for Pavarinter as they come down this 160-mile-an-hour straight into the final hairpin, trying to run around the outside. Well, that really isn't going to stick, and Tim Reeves, Patrick Farrance now only 2 corners left to accelerate towards the checkered flag and take another 5-point advantage after the match races. And it was the win for Tim Reeves ahead of Pekka Pavarinter and Timo Cardiala. Third place, Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni. Ben and Tom Birchall, 4th. Sean and Mark Hegarty a good 5th, and Dave Molyneux, Gary Partridge in 6th. The final top 10 places on the finishing orders from the semi-finals. So Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance took their 4th victory of the season, 25 points more and a 30-point advantage now with 2 races in the championship left. No wonder they're smiling.
We're over the moon to win, but it was probably the hardest race that we've ever had. To beat Pekka when he is going as fast as he is very, very difficult, and I had to dig very, very deep to win.
Yeah, fantastic last lap there from Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance to take that win. But this was the main race. Pekka Pavarinter there, still thumbs up, even though he's on the back foot now in the championship. Sebastian Delanoy second on the grid. Tim Reeves, Pat Farrance starting from 3rd position as the photographers get their pictures and Tim Reeves phones home. 4th on the grid for Ben and Tom Birchall, the number 16 machine. Further down the order, the Slovenians, Janez Remzi and Romeo Bajdi. And some very nice pit crew there. Guy Horner and Ryan Charlwood on the number 17 machine. Number 45, Andy Percy and Michael Hildebrand on the MP Packaging Reliance Racing outfit. But a few gaps on the grid, non-starting, Michael Grabmiller, Dave Molyneux and Adam Treasure. Disappointment for those teams, but all action for 20 laps of the gold race about to get underway at Rijeka. And a clean start this time from everybody, and it looked like Pekka Pavarinter and Timo Cardiala that got the jump as they stream down into this tight first corner on board with Jos Moser and Ule Waffler. The Austrian-Swiss pairing on the Team Tyrrell Delta machine, and number 12, number 16, Ben and Tom Birchall there. So a good start from Jos Moser with the Honda CBRR Fireblade engine in that LCR chassis. Most of the other teams running the LCR Suzuki combination, but Moser sticking with the Honda Fireblade engine, and he's up to 4th place on this opening lap. Ben and Tom Birchall qualified in 4th position, Moser 5th. So a good strong battle between these two, and Ule Waffler nervously looking behind him as they run back down the hill and into the S's section. Left, right, left. And Ben and Tom Birchall going left, right, left, looking for a way past Jos Moser and Ule Waffler. Up the top of the hill and onto the back straight, the fast run down to the tight left-handed hairpin at the end of this. Ben and Tom Birchall in the slipstream, but on the brakes, Moser and Waffler holding that 4th position. So Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues lead from Pekka Pavarinter. Tim Reeves in 3rd place. There's that battle between Moser and Birchall, and has Birchall gone through? No. As they come out onto the start-finish straight, almost running up the pit lane. Birchall out of the slipstream of the Team Tyrrell Delta machine. There's a fast right-handed kink coming up before the left-hander, and well, looking back, nothing behind us, so Looks like Bent and Tom Birchall have moved up into that 4th position behind Tim Reeves. Indeed they have. Steve Norbury and Paul Napton 6th, and the battle for 7th headed by Alan Schofield and Lee Barrett. So the French pairing, Sebastien Delanoy, Gregory Clues, leading this race from Pekka Pivarinta. There's that battle for 7th, Alan Schofield and Lee Barrett. And we're on board with Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni in 8th position, chasing Schofield and Barrett. The second of the Reliance Racing Team machines, driven by Alan Schofield. Lee Barrett joining the team for the Saxon Ring race. And they're doing a good job. Big slide into that right-hander. Barrett moves across to get his weight on the sidecar wheel. And Sean and Mark Hegarty going past Marcus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni. But at the front, still Sebastien Delanoy, reeling from that 20-second penalty in the match race semi-finals. That put them out of contention for the final event itself, dropped them down to 9th place in the overall standings. So just a handful of points for the French team. Number 24, Slovenian Milan Spendel, this time with Rick Long in the sidecar. But we're on board with race leader Sebastien Delanoy, the Wick France Silkeline sponsored Team Sanseb 72 machine. And back with Marcus Schlosser. He's back past Sean and Mark Hegarty up to 7th position, chasing Alan Schofield. Oh, and the hand goes up from Lee Barrett. Oh, so some kind of problem there for Schofield and Barrett. Second position for Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala, chasing down Delanoy and Clues, but a shadow on the outside, and that's Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance round the outside at the hairpin to take 2nd position away from the Finns as they come on to the start and finish straight once more. That fast approach onto the start finish, nearly in the pit lane, fanning out 3 abreast into turn 1. But still, Delanoy and Clues hold the lead. Now, Tim Reeves, Patrick Farrance in 2nd position. Pivarinta and Kartiala we're on board with in 3rd place. Remember, Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance start this race with a 30-point advantage at the top of the championship standings. 1 race to go after this one, so the result here could decide the World Championship. Pekka Pivarinta, Timo Kartiala will be desperate to get ahead of Reeves and put Sebastien Delanoy and Gregory Clues between them. They need to do that to keep their championship hopes alive. Running out of the chicane down the hill through this fast sweeping section of S's. Delanoy and Clues looking comfortable at the front, but coming under pressure, of course, from Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance. The 3 leaders could be attached by a bungee cord as they head back up the hill towards the far hairpin. Pivarinta in the slipstream of Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance. This is where Reeves took the position last time around. Pivarinta trying to go around the outside and right up the back of Sebastien Delanoy. Has he made the move stick? No. Well, that was very hopeful for Pivarinta there, and it didn't come off as the leaders once more onto the start-finish straight. Oh, and the Slovenian team of Remzi and Bajdi out of the race. Disappointment for the locals. Oh, and ahead of us, Tim Reeves, Patrick Farrance move up into the lead ahead of Sebastien Delanoy and Gregory Clues. Pivarinta and Kartiala just dropping back after that failed attempt to take 2nd place. Ben and Tom Birchall there in 4th position, not that far behind. Well, now Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance in the lead from the French pairing. Pivarinta and Kartiala need to chase after the championship leaders through the chicane. Gregory Clues looking as smooth as ever on the side of that French LCR Suzuki. Pivarinta getting the run down the hill, over the bumps, into the S's section, a flick right, then left. This is where the passengers have to work really hard. The machine's accelerating all the time up this hill, through this little left kink, air underneath that sidecar wheel for Sebastien Delanoy and Pekka Pivarinta in the slipstream. And Delanoy in the slipstream of Reeves. We pull out to the left, late on the brakes up the inside. This time Pivarinta up to 2nd position. Delanoy pushed back to 3rd, so from 1st to 3rd in just 1 lap. On board with Jos Moser in 5th position, entering the hairpin. Oh, and a problem there for Moser. We're in the gravel. He's overshot the braking area, and Jos Moser and Ule Waffler off the track. Well, that opens things up a little bit in that battle for 5th place. Steve Norbury and Paul Napton there on the blue machine. But still up front, the 3 leaders together. Smoke beginning to pour off those Yokohama tyres. Tyres being a problem in this 20-lap race, a long distance. Pekka Pivarinta still putting Tim Reeves under pressure as they run through the chicane. Well, the pace of this 20-lapper not as hectic as the earlier match race, and that's because tyres come into play for the longer race. You can see smoke coming off the rear wheel there of Steve Norbury's machine as he chases Markus Schlosser. But the lead changing once more, and it's Pekka Pivarinta very late on the brakes into the hairpin, and he slides up the inside. Tim Reeves looking to fight back straight away, can't do it there. Tim Reeves and Pat Farrance broke that 10-year-old lap record in the match race final. So people said that one wouldn't go, but it did. But they're about a second or so a lap slower in this longer distance event due to the fact that they're running harder compound tyres. Ben and Tom Birchall there still holding that 4th position, and they can just tantalisingly see the leaders in the distance. Well, maybe they're conserving their tyres a little bit better than the 3 that are fighting for the lead at the front. But now it's Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala smoking that rear tyre of Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance. Just dropping away a little bit now. Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues. Markus Schlosser and Adolf Hanni in 5th position. Well, not for long as Steve Norbury and Paul Napton go through, and they take 5th position away from the Swiss pairing. So a great ride from Steve Norbury. Remember, he had that big crash here last year at the end of the start-finish straight. And Schlosser, well, Adolf Hanni there not getting out for the left-hander, and the reason for that is he's trying to get as much weight on that rear tyre as possible. So it looks like they've got no grip left. Back with the leaders, and it's Pivarinta and Kartiala, the Steam Profi-sponsored machine. Team Suzuki Finland supported. At the front, Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance, and these two definitely breaking away now. 4th position, Ben and Tom Birchall just putting Tony Green and Colin Tu a lap down. And that's the French team of Michael Ducaret and Bruno Gandios. They're running further down the order. And there's 5th position, Steve Norbury and Paul Napton. That Thompson's Lockside Racing machine holding 5th position, but at the front, and almost broadside rallycross style out of that hairpin. Well, if there's going to be a tyre problem, Tim Reeves is going to give his Yokohama some stick all the way to the end. The run out of the chicane, down the hill, and still blue smoke pouring off of the back of that Tim Reeves machine as he just nails 200 horsepower through that single driven rear wheel. But a little mistake there in the S's, and broadside once again for Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance, and broadside there for Billy Gowross and Wayne Stevens. They're holding off Milan Spendel as we look across the track to this titanic battle for the lead. Pivarinta, Kartiala, they've had 3 wins in the series so far. 4th position for Ben and Tom Birchall. But still right with Pivarinta is Tim Reeves. 3rd position still Sebastian Delanoy. So this great scrap for the lead. Tim Reeves, of course, 30-point advantage in the standings, 1 race after this, so he only needs to finish 2nd behind Pekka Pivarinta and Timo Kartiala to clinch that World Championship. Pivarinta will know that. He's desperate to take the win and leave the rest to fate behind him. Still Tim Reeves smoking up that rear tyre as they came out of the hairpin. That's the battle between Gowross and Spendel, and Gowross just holding off Spendel, and here come the leaders on the run down. Just half a lap to go now as they approach the S's. Tim Reeves makes a move up the inside, and they touch. Well, a clash between the 2 leaders there, and well, bits of bodywork flying about all over the place. Tim Reeves is in the lead. He's lost his sidecar wheel arch. We're back on board with Pekka Pivarinta. They've been pushed down to 2nd position. Well, we're on the back straight now, approaching the final chicane. Tim Reeves, no wheel arch on that machine. Patrick Farrance won't be able to get out for the left-hander. He's got no bodywork there to use it, and they're struggling through that left-hander. Pavarinta looking up the inside to try and retake the lead, and Pavarinta's off. Well, what a dramatic final lap of this Croatian Grand Prix. Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance take the checkered flag ahead of Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues. Well, a replay of that final lap. Tim Reeves, second place, takes a dive down the inside to the right-hander, and the two machines clash mid-corner. A big hard hit there, a wave of the fist from Timo Kartiala, bits of bodywork flying all over the track. On board from Pavarinta as they get hit in the side, pushed off the circuit. There's Tim Reeves with no sidecar wheel arch left on that machine. And then the final hairpin, Pavarinta looking for a way up the inside of Reeves, just clips the back of the Eastern Airways machine. The bodywork tucks under the front wheel, and they go straight on into the tyre barriers. Poor Kartiala getting thrown to the ground. Drama and incident. Well, it was Tim Reeves and Patrick Farrance that stood on the top step of the podium. But after a protest from the Team Suzuki Finland squad, the FIM jury decided that last lap manoeuvre by Tim Reeves was a little bit too forceful, and they upheld the protest and awarded Reeves and Farrance a 20-second penalty. So that dropped them down to third position and meant that Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues took their first win in the Sidecar World Championship. A good second place for Ben and Tom Birchall. Steve Norbury was fourth, Schlosser and Hanny fifth, Billy Galros and Wayne Stevens sixth, Milan Spendel and Rick Long in seventh. So Sebastian Delanoy and Gregory Clues, their first Superside win in controversial circumstances. But at the top of the championship, Reeves and Farrance now confirmed as the 2007 World Championships. They cannot be beaten by Pekka Pavarinta and Timo Kartiala. In the team standings, the Eastern Airways squad with an unassailable lead.
I've been here 3 times and we've been very lucky, and it's been a real good circuit to me, this place since I started racing. So to win a third World Championship here, and for Patrick to win his first World Championship over the moon.
I've got quite another feel at the minute. I'm overwhelmed. The World Champions, everybody's dream. Since I first started racing, I aspired to World Champions, and now my name's up there with all the rest of all the greats. And thanks to Tim and everybody that's helped me.
So Reeves and Farrance, the 2007 World Champions, after a controversial race, were sure for more fireworks at the final round from Le Mans.